it just went like this, and I dropped out of school. Hi, my name is Jia Yi. I am 25 this year and I am a Chinese dancer. I started dancing 21 years ago when I was 4 because I was a clumsy, naughty child. My parents enrolled me in ballet for me to be a bit more dainty and all. But when I was in secondary school, I had more exposure to Chinese dance through my CCA. And I think I was enthralled by the culture and the anthropology behind the Chinese dance art form itself. And that was when I realized that I had wanted to pursue this passion, but I fear going on this path because of the unknown, because it's unconventional. I didn't have the courage. I only had mentors. They share with you how much they don't support you in this path. So the more opposers I had, the more convinced as a rebellious or YOLO youth that if I were to live 5 years looking back, I do not want to regret that I never taken this step. I opted to drop out of IP program when I was in year 4. I went into Temasek Junior College for 3 months. And then I dropped out of school, without my parents knowing. Because I could not forget that 1 month that I spent after O-levels in China doing a dance immersion with the local students. In Chinese phrase, there's this phrase called 念念不忘必有回响. Myself, when I was in TJ, I felt that I wasn't listening to my heart's intuition. So it came to a point that I had more than a month of daily quarrel with my parents. Then I decided to drop out of school. When my mom found out that my school uniform is not in the laundry for more than over a week, she questioned me because I left as usual every day, not for school, for dance. Apparently my father was the one that agreed unknowingly to me dropping out of school. There was a form that you have to get from general office that you indicate your reason and have your parents' signature. So I did fill in that form and I forged their signature. When it was submitted to my form teacher, then she called my dad to confirm and to check why. I think my dad was quite busy at that time, so he didn't really listen correctly to the content. So he was just like, So he just, it just went like this, and I dropped out of school. I was desperate. I only know that I can only go if I can secure the funding, because my parents would not be able to support me and they do not support me at that point in time to pursue this path. What I attempted at that point was to write in to 40 over organizations in Singapore. So I wrote in, and then I was supported by Sheng Hong Arts Institute and study grant from Trailblazer Foundation. With this support, I went over to Beijing. At that point when I was enrolled, I was the only Singaporean, and it is difficult. Because being a foreigner in another country, it is natural that you are considered second-class citizen. I mean, every country will protect their citizens at all costs. But the way we think, our education and our practices, our beliefs, and a lot of our habits are very different. So I stood out quite a lot in a lot of ways from the locals. I also don't have the best of the natural-born physicality, traits, talents that, in China they have such a large talent pool that they can choose from. The minimal requirement for our course in dance performance is 170 cm. So I'm considered average or a bit below average in my class. I would say I work really, really, really hard. 就是先天不足. Not just to make up for that, but more of I've made a decision at that point in time with no turning back. The 8 years in China, I was a scholarship holder. There is this unknown stress and pressure that you have to hit expectations, you have to excel in this career path, and you have to answer to not just yourself, not just your parents, but I feel the responsibility to do just for the scholarship investment that is in me. Why did people choose to trust that I can do this and to support me in this path? Then I felt that I need to do a lot more so that I can be worthy of the privileges that has been given to me. That was in middle school. I disciplined myself to wake up at 5:30 every day, to run 5 kilometers in the morning, 5 kilometers at night, 1,000 jumps, crunches, and back lifts. All these to keep the dancer's form. So every day I wake up at 5:30, but I retire at around 2:30, so around 3 hours of sleep. I would say it's more military training. In the dorm, you only can go out once a week, no phones, 6 to 9:30. Yeah, physical training. When the lights are off, then I'll go to the sink. Like we have a shared common area. Then I'll just hold the sink and then take it as a bar. Then I'll revise and I'll practice in the middle of the night. Yeah, so a lot of my friends thought that I actually met with like some ghost because I was just some shadowy figure in the dark, then practicing, revising. When I was in university, we live life every day surrounding this. I still start my day at 6. I still end the day at even later, despite, long day, tired and taxing, but you are enriched soulfully. Going overseas to pursue arts is not just pursuing this art form itself, but more of opening up your horizons and exposing yourself to different ways of living, different cultures, different sets of thinking. These are the ones that I think that will benefit, I would say, your pursuit, your life, or even your artistic creation. The relationship with my parents has been very isolated, I guess. We didn't speak for months. I was just too young and I think very rash. I had this realization not because, over the night I suddenly matured or something. I read an article from 联合晚报, something like 现今这个时代，当我们在教导孩子怎么的去追梦的时候，我们的感恩教育是否足够? So that was the point. After I read the article, then I realized that how selfish I am to pursue this path and how much love a parent will give actually to, despite them knowing that you decided against what they have wanted you to do, but still try to support you, to gradually conform to your choice. When it hit me, the realization, I contacted them more frequently and try to initiate acts of love for them. That was when they slowly start to understand what I'm doing there and try to come into my life a bit more. But also because I let them in. I think it was the life and education in China that made me mature, grow up, and they felt relieved that I was still able to come back and 探无价. Because that's called 艺术探博家. That was the joke previously. Yeah, but okay, 艺术还是可以. Yeah, but not in the form of pure arts, definitely. There were a lot of different career paths that venture from this pursuit itself. Dance can teach you more than just the movement, but more of a way of thinking, a building of endurance, and I think a shaping of your character. Yeah, so I think that was what dance brought to me, and I think my parents also identified that and gave me full-on support thereafter. There's a lot more I can do to advocate for the arts, to advocate for the benefits that arts can bring to us.
Jia Yi teaches from her experience as a dancer who has just graduated from a dance academy. So it's like we learn techniques that even if we might not be able to execute to like 100%, it's still very useful to us as dancers.
She really used her whole body to teach, which is quite rare for a lot of the Chinese dance teachers in Singapore nowadays. Yeah.
Until last time, maybe the teacher will show us the movement and for us to copy it. But Jia Yi will really break down the steps to see how you're going to breathe, how you can use better technique to achieve the movement.
I really like how there's so many people that are passionate about it. I feel like although it's a very traditional kind of art, it will persevere because a lot of people will like it.
As for myself, I feel a sense of responsibility or a self-invocated mission to share this passion. What can you contribute back to a society that groomed you? There are a lot of beauty in traditional arts that I think we don't see. But it is also our responsibility to learn from the traditional arts and see what we can do to connect it better to the current society, instead of disconnecting from the traditional arts and viewing them as something of the old. For the younger Singaporeans, I feel that you should take a step up to decide for your life, what do you want to do, what do you think you can do. 如果失败，我会重新开始 and 我可以重新开始。If you have that in you, I think you should go and venture. Yeah. I give up a lot of things. But I also can consider that it's not called giving up because I chose this path and it's something that I be responsible for. But if I zoom out and look at myself again, I think I gave up on the time I have with my family. I spend a lot of time in solitude, in speaking with myself through disciplining myself in dance. I have a fair share of torturing but enjoying the fruits of labor. Or let's say, it feels mentally enriching. Yeah. Becoming Jia Yi is to be passionate in what you believe in, to balance with responsibilities, and to always be true and to seek for the truth.